All right, so next thing I want to do is I want to basically put the actual skeleton inside of my character. Now, if you go to the skeleton tool here and we put on the tool settings, which will not, for whatever reason, there we go. You can see there's a bunch of different options in here. One of the things that's actually kind of interesting, they have this projected centering. I'm going to turn this off, actually, this variable. And what that'll do is I'm going to turn on X-ray joints so you can see them. Let's get rid of that one. What it'll do is it'll actually try to put it into the center, which is kind of cool. Oops. So you can actually do it right in the 3D view. However, I don't really trust it per se. I don't know how exacting that is. And you might want to change the placement and stuff. So I don't generally use that. Instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you basically how I put joints in. And it is basically this method. So what you want to do, the general rule of thumb is this. You want to put it in the center of mass, meaning like if this was the leg, I'd want to put it in the center because this is the outside inside edge, so right in the middle. And same thing this way. That's usually best for deformation, okay? The other major factor, there's two major factors, is basically anatomy and understanding like what's needed of the character, okay? So if we were going exactly like where the joints meet, it actually wouldn't be in the center. It would be in the front. You bend from your front of your knee, not from the middle. Okay. If you were to look at the skeleton, you can kind of see that. I mean, you can literally, I mean, I know it's your patella, but tap your knee, right? So it's actually more towards the front. So usually what you do is you have to balance those two. And depending on the type of character, if it's a very cartoony character, you're going to go more on the side of deformation. And if it's supposed to be a hyper-realistic character, you go on the side of anatomically correct. And then what you do is you just use other tools to basically support it to make the deformation better and more accurate, like actual like muscles that you build in and all that other stuff. I'm going to switch to rigging. So like for instance, there are, where is it? It's in skin. You can actually make muscles and stuff. Maybe it's in Deformer. I don't remember where it is. Somewhere in here. Not a huge fan of it, to be honest. Okay, so that's what I want to do. That's what I'm trying to shoot for. So what I like to do is I do it this way. So in order to find the center of mass, what I'll do is I'll just generally also too, besides being the center of mass, usually want to put it in the center of the edge loop. So you notice the knee, I put 3 edge loops, right? So that means I want to put it on the center one, on the ankle, right? I'm going to try and put it on the center one. Sometimes they'll do more than 3, but like the elbow, this is the center one. So you try to put the center of the edge loops as well, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double click on this guy just to get this edge loop so it goes around. And then I'm gonna click on this as well. Oops. Yeah, we'll just double click that. So we're gonna say, okay, we got that there. And I feel like that's gonna be a little low for where his hip should be. So I'm gonna also grab this one, but I don't want this side. Notice that I don't have mirroring on as well. So we're just gonna grab like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Deformer and I'm gonna go Cluster. And what it does is that when you make a cluster, it's actually what you're doing is you're actually like creating something that those components are basically parented to. The reason why we're using these though is that by making the cluster, it'll automatically put in the center of whatever the selection is. So now I can snap to that in a little bit. So I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to go to my knee, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll just hit double click on the center one, hit G, it makes that cluster, and then I'm going to go to my ankle. And we'll say it's between this and this. So that's roughly where it should be. I'll hit G. And then I need to do the ball of the foot. So this is one of those things where I'm actually not going to put it in the center. The reason being is that when this goes to flex, the foot will actually, because of the way it'll flex, will actually go into the ground. I actually need to put it at the base of the foot. So I'm just going to literally grab just this center vertice right here so it ends up on the bottom and hit G. And then I'll put one on the tip here. So we'll put one here, and we'll hit G, okay? So now you can see I've got basically these clusters that I can use for the leg, all right? And I'm just going to do the same thing going upwards this time. So we're going to grab, let's go here, all the way around, like so. Make sure I got, all right, that's good. And then I will hit G. So that'll be my first spine one, and then I'll grab this one, G, and then I'm just going to go every other one because I don't need that many of them. So we'll do there, and then we'll go, I just did this one, right? So I'll go right here. Now you might need to go every one. You might need to go every 2 or something. but you want to just kind of try and get them somewhat evenly spaced. And then G. All right, so we're only going to go up to there because your chest area doesn't actually flex. Now, I know you have, so you have your cervical, you got 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, and then 5 lumbar, okay? That's how your spine works. But most of the bending is going to happen down in this lower end here, the lower thoracic and lumbar. Actually not up here as much because your chest, there is a little bit of movement, but this is generally supposed to be a hard area. Okay, let's go ahead and just do the neck here. So I'm going to do the base of the neck. So I'm going to say, we'll just do down here, roughly, and then I'll hit G. And then I need to do the base of the head, which is usually right around here in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one and this one so that it's a little bit underneath. And I just got to make sure I get a pair there, and then I'll hit G. And then I need to do the tip of the head, which I did not think this through. So I'm going to double click on this face, pull that up. Okay. And then we'll put one right here, and we'll do G. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and do the arm. So I'm going to need a clavicle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a vertex here for where the clavicle would be, your collarbone. Obviously the clavicle is more up here, but it'll actually have better information if I do it from here. So say there, and then I'm going to grab something sort of comparable, say here. All right, and then I'll hit G. And then we need to do the shoulder here. So my edge loops obviously don't go this way so well. So we'll just grab this one here. That looks pretty acceptable. And I'm going to grab these 2 bottom ones. And then I'll hit G. All right, so it'll be my shoulder. Then we're going to do an elbow. And I'll hit G. And then we'll do a wrist, which I didn't really make. Should have put another edge loop in there for the wrist. There. I'm trying to get all the way around. We'll do not that one. And I'm going to hold shift this one. We'll just put it between those 2. And then we'll hit G. All right. And then we need to do the fingers. And I didn't really do much geometry for the fingers either. So we need to put one in here for the thumbs. So I'm going to grab that one. And we'll grab this one. And I'll hit G. All right. So because it kind of goes from there. And then we'll put one here-ish. Let's also grab this side of it and G. And then we'll say here, G. And then we'll do the base of the fingers here. I'm just going to grab those 2 top ones and those 2 bottom ones and G. And oh, come on, this and this. This and this, G. This and this. To this and this, G. Come on, this and this. To this and this, and G. Okay. I got the base finger ones. These other ones should be a little bit easier. So here, G. So I think we did 2 edge loops, so I'm going to undo that last one. So I think I was doing 2 edge loops for each one of these joints instead of the 3, so we'll just grab both of those, hit G. Hold and shift, G. 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 Okay. And then here and here, G. Here, here, G. So you notice that, like, basically my fingers, I only did 2 as opposed to 3. So I got to do between the 2. And there, G. And then we just do fingertips. Sorry, this, G. This, G. 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 Okay. So we should have most of what we need for the fingers there. I'm not really happy with the thumb placement there, but okay, so we got that. So that looks pretty okay. The other thing I need are eyeballs, and you'll notice I don't have any. So I'm just going to make at least placeholders for now, and then we can put some in later. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to Create, Polyconfirmative Sphere, hit the option box, and I'm just going to do 16 by 16, just because it's a nice even number. Create, and I'll hit W, pull that up, and we'll move it over this way. Over here, I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees this way. So I'll hit E. If I hold J, it's increment, Boop, boop, boop. So we just go that way. I'm going to scale it down. Okay. Move that in. All right. Apparently. Is this stuck on snap or something? Okay. Why is that? Oh, what the heck is that? I don't know how that got turned on. Okay. Shoink. So just get that eyeball roughly to scale and position. Now, you might need to actually move your eyelid pieces depending on your model. So you could potentially have a little bit of stuff to do there, but I'm going to call that good. So once you're happy and you know it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, take that eyeball. I'm going to hit Control G. The reason why I'm doing that is that whenever you make a new object or group, it puts the origin here. So now when I hit Control D, it'll duplicate it. And if I scale it on -1 on X, -1, it'll flip it to the other side. And now I got 2 eyeballs. It's a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so I need the eyeball to obviously rotate from the center so that way it will work correctly. So what I can do is just literally have the whole thing selected. Turn that off. And then just do skin deform cluster. I'm sorry, deform cluster. Boom. And that will just automatically put it in the center. Okay. Now we only need to do the one side because we're just going to flip it to make the other side. Now what I'm going to do is this. See if I can get this in here. I don't know why it's not. It's like not wanting to. Maybe I can do it that way. There it goes. Okay. I'm going to get this in here. What I'm just going to put this guy on a new layer. So that and then rock and paper. We'll just put this as character geo. Geo for geometry. Great. And I'm just going to put it in template mode. Just makes things a little bit easier. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to basically make a wire. So the idea here is that instead of trying to put the joints in directly, I'm going to draw out the character basically as CV curves and then manipulate those to get a position to exactly where I want. And then I will snap the joints to that CV curve. Okay. So actually, let's turn that off altogether. All right. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and do that. So we're going to go to create. Actually, how much time are we currently at? It's probably been long enough. So I'm going to pause this video, and then the next thing we're going to do is actually make the curves.